Well, hello, folks, and welcome to our new version of Member Spotlight. And for the very first member on this new format, we have Amanda Winters. And Amanda, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
And I understand that you just got back from a climbing Mount Rainier in the snow and ice. So we'll
That's
we'll
right.
talk to you a little bit about that. But first of all, how did you get into triathlon, and what made you want to do it?
So about 2 years ago, I started fitness journey and I started incorporating small things. I was way overweight, out of shape. I weighed, 165, 170 pounds. And I knew at that point that I needed some things to change about my lifestyle. So I started incorporating, small things, baby steps, of course, hiking, and then hiking eventually progressed to running. And then the group that I'm involved with, they also bike. And so I
Oh,
started incorporating biking and everything into my routine over the last 2 years. And, I started with, doing events like a half marathon, and that progressed to a full marathon. And then for the bike rides, it started out as being, a lap around River Mountain Loop locally. And then that progressed to a century ride. And, I
wow.
also scuba dive, and I've always kind of been involved with the water. That's always kind of been on the back burner for me with all of my activities and hobbies and things that I do. So I started thinking, well, I run, I bike, I kind of swim. I could swim better, but I'm doing all these things. And I was like, triathlons, it'd be a great hobby to get into.
It's difficult
It's
to,
3 activities.
mhm. Oh no, all rolled into one. I find it difficult to believe that
All
you were not an athlete all of your life because you're so fit and you're so active. And you say you 2 years ago, you got into triathlon. And for folks listening, I see your posts. You climb Mount Rainier, you do Ragnar race type races and ultras. So you do a little bit of everything.
ultras. Ultras.
Yeah.
I've done ultras. Yep.
Yeah.
I love trail running.
So,
And then Mount Rainier, I've always had that passion for hiking, and that progressed into alpine climbing and being in the snow and ice. And I used to do smaller, short hikes. I used to think
mhm.
that climbing, 2, 3,000 feet of elevation gain was my max. And for Mount Rainier, that was 10,000 feet of elevation gain. So that was a significant difference from 2 years ago.
How long did
Um,
that take you, the 10,000 feet
we
gain?
so so we climbed the Rainier seminar that I just completed was a 2-day course that started with teaching us basic like ice skills, crampon use, how to self-arrest with an ice axe,
Mhm.
belaying, that kind of thing, just to keep us safe because there are some dangers and on Mount Rainier like crevasses and such, and you do have to be safe about it. And so we did that 2-day course. And then after the course, it was 3 days of climbing with alpine camping. So
Mhm.
we'd set up our own base camps, we cooked our own food, that kind of thing. We shoveled out sections of ice to set up our tents at certain points
Wow.
on the mountain.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
we had 3-day ascent and 1-day descent. So going down the mountain.
3 days going up. Wow.
Mhm.
And one thing that's interesting is we were talking before we started recording this. Um, Triathlon represents one of your light weekends. It's like, so how does it compare physically to the kind of stuff that you do?
Actually, I would not say triathlon is light. I've done the sprints with the Las Vegas Triathlon Club. I did
Mhm.
one, and then the last one I did was with at the Rage Triathlon,
Mhm.
and that was the Olympic, and that was actually pretty challenging. It's a full body workout. When you
Yeah.
combine all three of those sports into one, it is a full body. I told my friends when I got done with that last triathlon that I did at the Rage, I was like, it was harder than a full marathon because you're, going in the water, you're swimming, and it's like when I got out of the water, I was starving. I wanted a snack. But it was like,
No,
oh, I gotta hop on a bike now.
no, and I get that. It's like you get in the water, you get out of the water, you're exhausted, you think, great, now I got a bike. And then you come off the bike, your legs don't work. So,
Mm-hmm. Three fun activities all in one, but I really enjoy
uh,
it.
what was your first race?
The
Your
first
first
one was
triathlon
my first one was with you guys in
with
April.
the yeah,
Hmm.
and you did really well.
Thank you.
It's like I had no idea that was your first race.
Yep, that
So,
was the first one, and then Rage was my second, and I'm going to be joining the one this upcoming weekend with you guys, and then after that, I'll be going out to Rockford, Illinois. I have family, that's why I selected that area for a triathlon out there. It's
and
a half
what
iron.
it's a half Ironman.
Hmm.
Holy cow! So you realize that's the kind of a jump that is from a sprint to an Olympic to half Ironman in 6 months at the most,
Quite a
three
jump.
months.
Yep.
So what has been a surprise to you? When you started triathlon, it's really good hearing someone who is brand new and just getting started, but you're exceptionally athletic. So what have any aha moments, any things
Yeah.
you've learned so far?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that I've learned is even though I'm a scuba diver, that does not make me a great swimmer. Because, when we scuba dive, we have a snorkel and a mask and our fins. But,
But you're
when we're doing,
buoyant. You're
yeah, you're
neutral.
buoyant.
You're neutral.
It's a completely different beast. So when I got into swimming to swim for fitness, like this is completely different. I'm gonna actually have to put some effort and practice into it. And I still that's one of the areas that I want to practice more in is my swim.
That's smart realizing that, the fact that it's different, especially in open water. Had you been in open water before then?
Yes.
You'd been, just hadn't swum
And
in
I
open water.
Yeah, and I've done that like leisurely, not for any kind of speed or to meet any kind of pace. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a new form of fitness. I do love it. It's a very great combination between the running and biking. Swimming, I feel like, is a lot less wear and tear on your body. I mean,
And
you're
say
neutral.
that again. It's
It's a lot.
the three
Swim,
doing the swimming, right?
yeah, swimming. It's a lot less wear and tear on your body and your joints. It's a low impact, so it's a very good form of fitness. I think it's a great mix with the biking and running.
Right. And it is, and you're right. As far as you don't overuse your knees from running or but you can get into trouble swimming, with your shoulders. You have to take it easy on that too.
Yeah.
So, well, what advice would you give to new triathletes that you have learned recently? People who are just starting out.
Stay consistent, practice, practice, practice.
And consistent in what way? Tell
Just
me about your consistency.
keep at it, keep training. If you feel or find an area that you're weak in, that's the area that you need to get out and practice in.
Yeah,
Like for
I can tell
swimming.
that's your attitude. It's like if it's hard, keep at it until you get it, right?
Yep. And like for me, it's, I've identified that I need to work on my swimming. And, there are days where I'm like, I really don't want to go swim. I would much rather go on a bike ride right now. I don't
Hmm.
want to get in that lake water. It's like 50, 60 degrees. It's cold. I'll have to put on a wetsuit. But I'm like, nope, that's what I need to go do today.
Well, good for you. And so there's some discipline involved as much as, and do you enjoy it? I mean, you enjoy training?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
definitely have my favorites. I love to run.
Do you really? Okay.
Yep, absolute favorite. Put me on a trail. That's definitely my passion,
Very good.
the
So
ultras.
when you did your first triathlon, how did that feel? What were you feeling at the starting line?
Anxious, a little nervous,
And
particularly with the transitions. You're just like, everything's new to you. Like, where do I need to put my bike? Where does everything need to go? How is this going to flow? But it surprisingly went very smoothly.
Hmm.
It was a
Very
very
good.
good setup that you guys had.
And what was it like crossing the finish line?
It
How did
was
that
a,
feel?
it was a great feeling to make it through all three things. I felt a definite sense of accomplishment with that, even doing the sprint.
Yeah. And it's not, don't ever say just a sprint. Sprints are hard.
Hmm.
You're going hard. You don't pace yourself at all. So that is a huge accomplishment.
Hmm.
So, your first one. So what do you have planned as
Um,
far as, do you have anything beyond your half Ironman?
as far as triathlon stuff
Yeah.
goes, that's my first step. I want to
Okay.
see how I handle that, and then I might do another half or two, and then maybe one day I'll be able to progress to a full.
Really cool. And just, for other people who might be, interested in doing some of the workouts with you, or, what part of town do you live in?
Henderson.
You live in Henderson? So
Hmm.
you're close to River Mountain Trail, Lake Mead. It's nice.
Cadence. Yep.
Very good.
And the
Um,
cadence can. Yep.
and what? You cut
In the
out
cadence community.
Cadence?
In the
Okay. Oh,
cadence
okay. Okay.
community. Yep.
I understand. You're
Yep.
out Lake Mead Parkway.
Hmm.
You're out Lake
Yep.
Mead.
So I do a
Okay,
lot
very
of my
good.
training. I do quite a bit of cycling on River Mountain Loop, and then Lake Mead is really close as far as swimming goes. I do also swim at like LVAC,
Okay.
one of
Very,
my
very
groups.
good. Well, we appreciate you being in the club. That's for sure. You bring a dimension to it that, people who just do triathlons, they're, swim, bike, and run. And I was always interested in whenever you would do a post, you were on some other mountain or climbing or skiing or doing something or scuba, you're doing something different.
Something.
So yeah. So
Good. And that's what it's about. It's all about mixing up all those activities. And, I think it's a really good, it's good for our bodies. It keeps us healthy, keeps us strong.
right. Right. Well, thank you so much. And once again, as we mentioned before, the purpose of this is so people can put a face to a name and know who is in the club and maybe can reach out to each other. So thank you so much for being on this spotlight. I appreciate it. And so you have a good night
You too.
and
Thank
good
you
night,
for having
good
me.
night, everybody. And we'll see you at the next one.